All right, so today we're going to be looking at pandas for data analysis. Right, so as I said, things will begin to make sense or make more sense as we dive into this particular library, but because this is when you will now start to like interact with data, right? We've not really used with any data set so far. We're just building on the foundation. Since we are learning with Python, we needed to like give us that foundation on Python and how we can like use Python generally. So now we are kind of niching down to the specific libraries we're going to be using. Previously, or in the last few classes, we looked at NumPy. So NumPy is a library that we need to know, all right, but it is not as it's not a practical library that we use to do stuff, right? It's just like a library that is the bedrock for other libraries. So it's essential that you understand how it works. It doesn't mean that you won't use NumPy. You will definitely get to use some of those arrays and all of that when we start looking at machine learning. All right, so for today we're going to look at pandas. So yeah, well, this class is basically just to introduce you to pandas, like, and to like give you a very good idea of what pandas is and how you can use pandas. Right. So yeah, I think, do I have anything to say? Class rep and assistant, is there anything that I need to address before we start class proper? I just want to be sure that there's nothing hanging or there's nothing like yet to address or that I'm supposed to address that I have not addressed. You can just let me know, please. Yeah.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon, Gideon.
Yeah, it's nice to be back. There are some pressing issues, like a couple of my colleagues, some are not still familiar with the use of Markdown on Jupyter Notebook. That's one. Secondly, some they are a bit confused on how to save their assignment file, especially on Jupyter Notebook that will carry the extension .ipynb. So there's a lot of confusion about that. And then still yet, there are other people that also have reached out to me that they express their dissatisfaction with the scores of their assessment. So that's the present issues for now.
All right, thank you very, very much. Okay, so I would have to like just address some of those things. So first off, the assignments, if you check your dashboard, like everybody should have seen, most persons should have seen their week 1 to week 4 grades. So the grades are complete now, so you should not have any issue with that. But if you've not seen your complete grade, then don't worry. As long as you follow the instruction and all of that, you're going to get to see everything. So I think your class rep contacted me and regarding this assignment issue and all of that, I'm asking because some persons are yet to see their grades for some weeks. So I told him exactly why those people haven't seen their grades. So if you read the message you sent, you would understand, or you should know which category you fall in. Because most for week 2 to week 4 assignment, that is the IPYNB assignment. If you don't see your grade, or if you, let's say you're getting 1 or 2, because yeah, some people actually complained of that as well. It basically, for those that scored 1, that saw 1 or 2, it's basically because you didn't submit the right file. You submitted a different file from the IPYNB file that we stated or we agreed to be using, right? So that's just it. So once I see it, if you're submitting py.py file, how do you expect me to open that? You just automatically not be scored. That's just it. And that's it for that. For those that didn't see any grade at all, like let's say still since 0, Your one is even better because you probably did your assignment and submitted the right file, only that you didn't grant me access to your file. So that was not, it's not an issue because I wanted to go over everything first before now going back to those that didn't give me access. So if you've not seen your grade yet, but you received a message from me or from someone else, I'm asking you for access, then just know that you'll be getting your grade like very, very soon. So even before tomorrow's class, because I wanted to go over the assignments in one of our classes. So but that's going to be in tomorrow's class. It's supposed to be today's class, but I feel everything should be settled as regarding the grading before we do that correction. So tomorrow's class we are going to quickly go over that. So yeah, we can understand where we fell short and all of that. So yeah, that's it for the assignment. For those that the week one people, just know that I've not attended to it yet. I wanted to make sure that every week has been sorted before we now go back to those people that actually have not seen their grade yet. So yeah, just know I think with that you should know the category you fall into. If it's something that can't be rectified, just make sure that going forward you try as much as you can to follow instruction and you do what you're supposed to do, right? So that's it for the assignment. Now for exactly, thank you, teams. The grades are irrelevant. Focusing on the skill and how to solve company issues should be prioritized. I won't completely agree with you. I agree with you, right? But it's not completely irrelevant actually. It's part of the whole process as well. But your priority should not necessarily be the grade. Like it should not be like you should just give me a minute. So your priority should not be the grade. It should be focused. It should be focused mostly on getting the value out of this, right? I'm not saying you should discard the grade or all of that, but you should focus. You should focus. Your priority should be getting the value of this program, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you are so focused on the grade that you just want to do the assignment and get your grade, but still you are not really getting the knowledge. You're not really getting what you're supposed to get from this particular program, right? Because you can it is the tools we have this day has made it easy for anybody to just answer questions or do assignments. So it's possible that you can be doing your assignments even without knowing what you're doing, right? And you are getting good grades, you are getting 10, 10, 10, you are scoring high, but you don't really have that knowledge. You don't really have the substance or know the substance of what we are doing. So it's just if you are getting knowledge from this, I feel you should even be very satisfied, like, and you should just see the grade like as something extra, just like an icing on the cake, kind of, not the grade being the main thing, all of that. Definitely, we celebrate those with the highest grade, but it doesn't mean those that didn't score as high are not doing well, are not doing very well as well. So yeah, thank you for that. So that's it for the assignment. And please, like I don't want anybody to disturb me after this tomorrow's correction. I don't want any disturbance. I don't want any question as regarding assignment from week 1 to 4 again. Please. I don't want any question as regarding that. Like we've literally been working like to make sure that we have all of this assignment graded, right? And even those that are not seeing their assignment score, we are paying attention to individual problems, right? So after tomorrow, let every question or any problem that you have from week 1 to 4, just leave it and focus on what is going on, what we are doing going forward. We have a lot to do actually going forward, right? We've not even finished with this phase 2, which has to do with data analysis and exploration, all of that. And we still even have machine learning going forward. And we also have our project as well. So there are a lot of things that you can still, you should look forward to as well. So yeah, that's just it about the assignment. So for the Markdown, this course is not necessarily a Markdown. It's not like going to be teaching you every single thing about how to use some of these tools that we are doing. Like I don't even expect that question, sir, because I kind of gave you an introduction to Markdown and at the first in the first class, in the first few classes. So you don't expect me to start teaching you Markdown. This is a data science course. If you have gotten the like rudimentary aspect of it, you can just go online. Like you go online and ask questions. Okay, or practice. Practice the one I thought we did. Right, I gave you some symbols that you can use to like kind of format your text and all that. You can look up more symbols. There is really nothing more to that. It's just formatting your text and all of that. So like we have a lot to do. Learning Markdown is not part of the curriculum. If you want to learn it, fine, right? You can just go and source materials. Like if any of your classmates can be kind enough, they can do that. You say you can do that. You have access to the internet. Just go online and get materials from Markdown and learn yourself. It shouldn't be an issue, right? It shouldn't be an issue. So yeah, I think that's just going to be my comment on those issues. And I also wanted to say that we have an assistant. I have an assistant now, and I told you how the number we have in this course is a lot, right? Although he assisted me in the second cohort, so we also brought him in for the third cohort. So he's basically going to be assisting me with grading, right? I'm going to be doing all of the teaching and speaking and all of that, but at the background is going to help. Is going to be helping me with every other thing, even with answering of questions and some other things that you might need answers with. So I'm going to, after the class, I'm just going to tag him on the announcement group chat so you can know who your assistant tutor is going forward. All right, so yeah, that's going to be it for that. So let's just move into what we have for today. So today we're going to be looking at pandas for data analysis. All right, I'm going to be looking at pandas for data analysis. So remember, I've introduced us to I've introduced I'm posting something in the group. Let me just check. What exactly is the problem, Mrs. Idowu Adinike? Said something that you don't argue. What is your issue exactly? You can just type it out, let me know. So as you're doing that, let's just proceed with the class. So by the end of this class, you should be able to understand what pandas is and its data structure. You should know how to perform the basic operations on series and DataFrame. So as I told you before that each library, most library comes with their own data type or data structure as we have it here. So you to understand how to use that particular library or to know how to use a library, you need to understand the data type or the data structure it is coming with, and the methods and attributes and everything that is attributed to that particular data type. So, like for example, NumPy has a specific data type, which is the NumPy array. So everything we did literally revolved around NumPy array. So if you can understand how to work with this NumPy array, it's going to help you understand this thing. Okay, you said you've been submitting the assignment with IPYNB and you got 1 in week 3 and 4. No problem. After this class, I'm going to look specifically um at your submission. All right. I'm going to look specifically at your submission to know exactly what the problem is, and I'll get back to you. So as it was for NumPy arrays, we have for pandas, and for pandas, it's Pandas series. We actually have two data structure or data type in pandas. We're going to be looking at them, right? So you should also understand the different data manipulation and aggregation techniques in pandas. So these are the things that I'm just reading the messages. I want to check if there's any importance in concern. Okay, so let's just move in. So now, what exactly is Pandas? Pandas is an open source Python library providing high performing and easy to use data structures and data analysis too. So now when it comes to, remember that every library has its own strength or its own particular use. For NumPy, we use NumPy for numerical computing. Anything that has to do with numerical computing, we use NumPy. So when it comes to data analysis in Python, like when you want to do data analysis in Python, our go-to library is Pandas. All right, so that is what Pandas is meant for. So you can actually equate Pandas to Excel. So everything Excel can do, Pandas can also do as well. But the difference is just that Pandas is you actually write code to like analyze your data, unlike Excel where you just do drag and drop. All right, so that is basically what Pandas is for. It's for data analysis, and you get to understand how data analysis can be performed with it. So you can read up this. The material has been provided already for you. So now, what are the data structures, right, that comes with Pandas? So at the very basic level, Pandas object can be thought of as an enhanced version of NumPy structured arrays, all right, in which the rows and column are identified with labels rather than simple integer indices. So now you can see how the knowledge of NumPy is going to start like is going to be applied to the different libraries and to the other things we're going to be looking at moving forward. So I told you that Pandas has a data structure which is used for everything that we're going to be doing for the manipulation, data analysis, and all of that. That particular data structure is built on top of NumPy array. All right. So people that develop Pandas, when they were developing Pandas, they actually developed Pandas on top of NumPy. So the underlying structure in Pandas is NumPy array. So they just kind of modified it and made it even much better. So the reason why they adopt NumPy arrays is because of how fast it is at the speed and the other features that I explained already. So at the basic level, just know that NumPy structured arrays is what is used in Pandas data types. So Pandas provide a host of useful tools, methods, and functionality on top of their basic data structures. But nearly, as I said initially, nearly everything that follows will require understanding of what these structures are. So every single thing that we're going to be doing revolves around the data structure in Pandas, right? The data Pandas series and Pandas DataFrame. Everything we are going to be looking at revolve around them. So it's very essential that you understand what these data structure are and how they are being used. So now let's move on to the main thing. So we're going to start with Pandas series. Let me just quickly open a file here to demonstrate every single thing we are going to be looking at. Can everyone see my screen? I think someone is complaining that she can't. Can everyone see my screen clearly? Okay, I think I don't know if we've said this already, but um certificates will be given at the end of this program, actually, right? Certificates will be given, and more details will be said on that. Will be given on that. Yeah, and also the total score would. There's a way we are going to calculate the total score, cumulative score, which is going to be over 100, right? So definitely, grade is not irrelevant, which I said I disagree, but it's not the main thing, right? So if you can focus on getting the skill and the knowledge, and also focus on getting the grade as well, that's perfect. That's like the ideal thing to do. All right, the ideal thing. But if you keep all your focus on grade and you neglect the knowledge, that is when there's problem. So I just want to make that clear. So you don't say your tutor is neglecting grade, that grade is not. No, that is definitely not what I'm saying. All right. So the grades, I think I'm going to share more light on that maybe in maybe one of our classes on how everything is going to be. We usually have a graduation at the end of the this program where we're going to celebrate the top students from each program, data science, program management, and all of that. And Access Bank as well. I think they had an agreement to kind of mop up some best performing students. I don't really know the details of that, but there is an agreement as regarding that. So if you can just make sure that um, you align yourself well in terms of getting the skill and also doing well as well. Following instruction also is very, very important. So yeah, let's see what we're going to be doing here. So now we are looking at Pandas. So the first thing first is that we're going to import the library. Import Pandas library. All right. So we do that by saying import Pandas, and we see as PD. This is a conventional way of importing pandas. So what exactly, based on our previous classes, what do we call this thing here? This as PD. Yeah. Why do we do as PD? What's the essence of doing it? Just a memory refresher. Yeah, exactly. It's called an alias, right? So this is exactly how we import pandas. It's very, very important that you follow this convention so as not to confuse yourself, right? Because if you do something like this, import pandas as NP and import NumPy as PD, it will actually work, right? It will work actually, but it's going to be confusing. Like someone will be using NP, not knowing that it is an alias for pandas. Someone will use pandas and not knowing it's an alias for NumPy. So you need to like just follow the conventional way. So whenever anybody sees it, they will know. Right, but this is just a mix-up, an intentional mix-up, because this is very, very confusing. So you can say something like this, pan, and then you can say something like this, num. So these are alias and they will still work, but nah, this is not conventional. Most people would not understand it when they see it repeatedly in your code. So just better for you to follow the normal conventional way of importing the library. So this is how we import pandas. We're going to say import pandas as what? PD. Okay, so that's going to be imported. Now let's continue with what we're doing or the description of Pandas series. So a Pandas series is one of the core data structure in Pandas. It is fundamental to data manipulation within the library. It represents now this is very important, it represents a one-dimensional index array capable of holding any data type: integer, string, floating point, numbers, Python, object, etc. All right. So now it's very important for you to understand is that it is a one-dimensional. Series is one-dimensional, while data frame, which is the second data structure we're going to be looking at, is two-dimensional. So you see data frame here, Pandas data frame. This one is a two-dimensional, right? Why series, Pandas series of what is it again, sir? Okay, yeah, one-dimensional. So that's one of the differences or difference between Pandas series and DataFrame. So just have it at the back of your head. What I should get to know about Pandas is Pandas series and Pandas DataFrame. So these are the two things that you'll be interacting with, the structures you'll be interacting with mostly. The same way you were interacting with arrays previously, the same way you'll be working with series and DataFrame moving forward in Pandas. So now, let's now dive deep to what series are. So a series in Pandas is essentially a single column in a data frame. All right. So I'm going to explain this when I get to the data frame aspect, right? So, but as I've said, it's a one-dimensional array-like object containing a sequence of values similar to NumPy array and an associated array of data labels called its index. So now this is how we can create a series. We import pandas here as PD. Then we can now create a series from a list. So we can have a list and then use this particular function. So let's quickly see how we'll create that, right? So it's very, very simple and straightforward, trust me. So creating a Pandas series. So before we create a series, we need to have a list of something. Okay, let's just create a random list. It can be a NumPy array or a list, but let's just use NumPy list first. So let's say let's say a list of states, like state. Let's just say states and just call states Nigeria. All right, so we can have let's say PH. Okay, let's just use this ones. So now we've created a list. Now we want to convert this list to a Pandas series. Like we want to create a Pandas series using this list. So how we'll do that is just come and say pd.series, right? So if, let's say, I just want to understand how this series work, like how do I use it for the first time? Me, as I am now, I already know how to use it, but most of us, we don't know. So you can just come here and just put your question mark, and then it should give you the detailed documentation of how to use the Pandas series, all right? So now you can see here that the Pandas series has several arguments. It has the data. So this is the data that we are going to be passing in. It has the index, all right? So we can put our index, you can decide to put index or not. It has data type and all of those things that we might not even use. So this is the explanation of Pandas series, and if you scroll down, you see how they are being used, like examples of Pandas series, right? So this is basically how to use Pandas series. So now let's just quickly use it now. So now I will just have to pass in my list, and then I'm going to have a Pandas series. So this is what a Pandas series looks like actually. Right, this is what it looks like. It looks something like this. It is usually like represented vertically, right? So you have your data. This is our data here. Lagos, Enugu, Ogun, Abuja, PH. This is our data. And what we have here, this thing here, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can anybody guess what it is? Like, just guess. I know I've not said it, but can anybody guess what it is? Exactly. So it is actually the index of this data that we have here. So I think this is the first time you're actually seeing an index being represented, like it is being displayed. All the indexes we've been talking about in NumPy, they are usually just conceptual stuff that we can't see. But in NumPy, in Pandas series, the index are usually displayed, so you see them actually, So that is basically how it works here. So let me come here and say I want to change my index. I can now come and say index. I will say I want my index to be A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay, how many stops do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I just stop at 5. So I want to make a custom index. I don't want my index to be the default index. So I can actually change my index to whatever I want. So if I change it to this, I can just come here and say index equal to index, and that should work. So you see now that we have this here, A, B, C, D, E. So my index now has been changed, right, from the normal index that we have to this. So this is basically how what a Pandas series is, right? So this is how we can create them. So they are like a one-dimensional. The one-dimensional in this case is just this Lagos Enugu column. It has just one column, basically. So that is just what makes it one-dimensional. So if I come here and just assign my series, this can now actually work with it. So that's basically how to create the series. So let's go ahead to see the other things that we can do. So, but before we look at it quickly, let's just see the characteristics of the series. So, a series is homogeneous. It has homogeneous data, right? So, unlike DataFrame, which can contain multiple data types, a series is one-dimensional and can contain a single data type. Like, let me just illustrate what that means. If I come here and see my series, now you can see that this data type here is what? An object, right? Because this is like a string stuff. So when Python or Pandas do not understand, or when it is a string, most time when it is a string, it will the data type would be an object, right? But let's say I want to change the data type and I come here and I see D type equals to float. Let's see what will happen. Does it mean that Pandas recognize index by default? Yeah. The S in the series is actually uppercase. That's something to pay attention to. It's actually uppercase, so you don't you don't use the lowercase for that. So okay. So you get an error for that because it's trying to convert the string to float, right? You see, we have our different string here, Lagos, Enugu, and the rest. So if you specify a data type here, Pandas will try to enforce it. But in this case, it can't convert this particular string object to float, so it won't work. So in cases where we have, let's say, multiple data types inside our Pandas series, let's just remove this data type for now. The data type will be an object data type, basically, right? It will try converting everything to a string. So this 4 here and this 6 here would be the same data type as this Enugu and this Lagos and this Abuja. So everything in the Pandas series would be of the same data type. That's basically what I'm trying to say. So let me even change it. Let me make it something like, I make it my second list, my list 2. I'll just say 3, 5, 4, 6. All right, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let me change this to my list 2. All right, so you can see now that, let me move this plot first. You can see now that we have this second series that we created using this my list 2. And this is by default an integer. So you can see here that the data type of this particular series is what? An integer. So it can have only one data type. If I change this data type here to a float, it will convert everything to a float, right? So that is basically what we mean by homogeneous data here. So all the data in that particular series is always the same, homogeneous. That is one characteristic of a series. The second one is flexible indexing. All right, flexible indexing. So that is, I demonstrated that at the beginning, that you can actually change the index of your series, of your Pandas series, by like converting it to what you want and specifying the index list. So you then assign it to the index argument or parameter here. So it will not just be giving you the default 0, 1, 2, 3 and what you have normally. So that's it. That's flexible indexing. And it also has alignment via index. So operation between series aligns value based on an associated index. So if you are trying to, you can perform arithmetic operations with series as well, right? If you have two series and you want to add them together, what is going to be done is that the elements at each index is going to be aligned, and then the operation will be performed on them. Right, so it's the same thing as array, just that they added just some style and just modified it a little bit to be flexible, right? So you can perform data analysis on it. So that's what it is. You see this homogeneous data, you remember that this is an attribute or a characteristic of NumPy array. NumPy array is very strict with the kind of data that it has. It doesn't allow for multiple data. So you can see how this Pandas series is built on top of NumPy array. So that is, it's just taking on some of the characteristics of NumPy array. So these are the characteristics of a series, and just keep that in mind, because you need to understand it moving forward. All right, so the index, as I've explained, this is the row label of the series. So each item in the series has a unique index, which is used to access the data, basically. So we already know how to do your indexing in our NumPy array and even in our Python list. So if I want to access this particular value here, what am I going to do? If I want to let me make this list 1, normal list 1. So what's there? Could not cover flows to Lagos. Okay. So if I want to like extract or like get this value, I want to get Abuja now. How am I going to do that? Okay, we are saying my series and D. It will totally okay. It will totally work. There's something missing here. I want someone to correct me here. There's something I was supposed to do that I didn't do. So what is the correct thing here? You can see that this particular answer you gave me is giving us an error. So what are we supposed to do? Nobody has gotten it. Just let me know. I just want to like stretch our thinking a little bit. All right, thank you, Felix. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm supposed to do, because the index is a string. You make sure that it is still a string when you pass it in, right, as an index. So you say put it in code, so you get your Abuja here. That's basically how you can index stuff in your series. So if you come here and you say you want to like use the normal index, it would still work. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3. If I come here and say 3, it will actually still work. It will give us Abuja. All right. So that's basically how we can index stuff. We're going to look at actually advanced indexing when we get to DataFrames and all of that. But I just want you to know that the same kind of indexing we've looked at in NumPy arrays is the same kind of indexing that we are still going to be applying here. So if you want to get something like this, you make sure that you get the index of that particular value and then just assign it here. That's basically how you get into indexing, right? So now let's look at basic operations on series. Basic operations on series, right? So we can actually access our data, as I've said, right? You can access elements in a series by their index using either the label, index label, or the integer location. So I've showed you how to do that, right? You can use whether the this one that we have here, or then the normal index that you're already used to. So now let's look at slicing. So the same slicing also applies to it. So you can slice the same way we've learned how to slice, right? By just putting your quotation, your colon, right, and then followed by what you have here. So if I come here and I say something like this, I want to get A to D. So I'm going to get Enugu, Ogun, and Abuja. So you can see that this will give you exactly these values. And you notice a difference here. Let's try the same thing. So B here is what? 1. And D here is what? 3. You see that if you use the normal indexing, we are not going to get the last element because Python by default, it gives you the last value before this index number here, which now still doesn't make sense to me because it's not intuitive at all. But if you use the normal index that you assigned, it doesn't follow that rule, right? It doesn't follow that rule. It just gives you exactly what you are calling, right? It just gives you exactly what you're calling. It doesn't say it will give you minus the last index. No. That only happens when you are using your normal integer indexing. All right, so this is how you can slice if you want to extract a portion of your series. So this extracted portion is also a series. So if I say, and I come in and say type rather, and wrap it, right? You see that this is what a Pandas series, right? This is a Pandas series. Okay, I've not showed you how to get this stuff. So if I come here and I say print, how to know this thing, print type my series, you see that this data type is what? Of series. So you can see it here. Ignore all this stuff. This is just like some additional details, but this is what you need to look at. This is a series, particularly that type is a series. So that's it for series indexing. You can perform arithmetic operation on series as well. So let's say you have 2 series. You have let me just copy this too because of time. Performing arithmetic operations on what's happening here? This issue. Operations on Pandas series. So let's say I have these 2 series, S1 and S2. If I print them, come here and say print S1 and then print S2. So these are my series, right? We have this first and the second series. You can actually perform arithmetic operation on them. I can come here and say S1 plus S2 to give me what? A new one, which is going to be addition of this. So you see 1 here plus 4 is what? 5. 2 plus 5 is what? 7. 3 plus 6 is what? 9. So any arithmetic operation you can think of, it can perform it for you. All right. So minus, division, multiplication, modulus, floor division, modulus, or what have you. So any arithmetic operation you can perform normally, you can already perform it on the series. All right. So given that the data type is a numerical data type, or not that you have a series that is on string or object and you want to perform numerical operation. In cases like this, where you have a series that is longer than another series, you can actually perform arithmetic operations on them. All right, you have this value, length of this series does not match length of this series, so you have to ensure that the length of each series, they are matching. All right, so those are the things, the criteria you have to meet before performing an arithmetic operation on them. All right, so you can also handle missing data in a series. So when we start working with real world data, you understand how we handle missing data, or why we handle missing data, or what missing data actually is. So we are going into data analysis now, right? We're going to start looking at data analysis, right, and looking at how we can analyze data. So we are actually moving into something that most of you are anticipating. So this is just the preliminary stage of that. So it might not necessarily be tomorrow's class, but probably from Saturday, because I want to use these 2 days to just brush you over Pandas, so you understand what Pandas is. So you can handle missing data, right? So let's say you have missing data in your data, in your series. So the way to create the missing data is to use this np.nan. So if I come in, I'll say import NumPy as np. So to create a missing data, you can just do something like this. Let me extend this. I'll come in and say np.nan, and I'll come in and say np.nan. So let's get one of these first. And let's put it here. Okay. There's a problem, and I've seen the problem, but I need someone to tell me what the problem is. There's a problem here, like in this particular code. No, it's not regarding the NAN. No, just forget the NAN. It's okay. Thank you very much, Ejiaborita. I need to add an extra index. Exactly. So the index here does not correspond to the number. I added 2 more values here, but I didn't extend the index. So the index will always give me an error. So I have to come here and put an extra index. Come here and put an extra index. So just come here and see this, then come here and see this. If I run it, it should work. So yeah, the person also talked about the NAN, you're correct, but the main issue was this indexing stuff. So it would work, it would give us this kind of stuff here. So so now we have a missing value here. This NAN is representing a missing value. So we want to replace this missing value in our Pandas series. So Pandas series provide an option to do that. So there's a function called fill NA, right? We can either replace our missing value or drop the missing value row. So we have these 2 options. So let's say I want to fill it. I can just come here and say my series.fill NA, and then I want to fill it by what? Let's say I want to fill it with let's say 0. Let's just say 5. Now you can see that it has changed to what? 5. It will look for all the missing values and then fill it by 5. But what you normally do is you fill it with the average of the values for that column, right? So you can actually use that. You can we'll look at that later basically, but this is how you can fill your missing values in Pandas. So you can also drop it. Let's drop it as well. Can drop your missing value. So you can come here and say np.drop na. So this drop na doesn't require any argument. It just drops. It looks for all the missing values in that particular Pandas. To drop that particular index, that index B, so it is no longer here. So that's one of the things you can do in your with your Pandas series. All right. So let's check out the other thing that we have. So vectorized operation. Pandas support vectorized operation. So this is just NumPy concept that has been like transferred to Pandas series. So you can do the same thing. You can multiply your series by a number, and it will like just multiply everything. So if you try that out, you're going to see for yourself. So we can also convert our series to either a list or a dictionary. So if I come here and I say, I want to converting my series to a list. So the way to do that is to bring your series. So our series here, let's use the first series, which is my series, right? Which is this Abuja stuff. I want to convert it to a list. So there's a method called toList. Right? toList is going to convert my Pandas series to a list. So you can see that it has extracted the values and it has given me this particular thing as a list. I can just assign it, like just come here and say my list, and then I have the variable there. Or I can convert it to a dictionary. So if I say to dict, it's going to convert to a dictionary. The keys here would be the index, while the value would be the data in the particular dictionary, in the particular series rather. All right, so the attendance is up now. You can go ahead and sign your attendance as usual. So do that as the class is going on. All right, so that is how you can convert your series to a list or a dictionary. And there's another function actually you can use on your series. So if I come and say series.values, it will give me the values. Give me the value, right? Let me be sure. Quickly check the name. dir print. Okay, we have values here. Okay. All right. So if I come here and I say values, so it's not a method, it's an attribute actually. So it's going to give me the values of that particular thing, or that particular list in a NumPy array. As a NumPy array, you can see it's an array, right? If I come and I say index, it will give me only the index. So these are the ways to extract data from your series, all right? So series are actually very flexible data structure that you can use to perform some data analysis. So yeah, that is it for list. So now let's just quickly look at Pandas DataFrame, and we're going to wrap it up. Yeah, for a particular reason, this class would not like extend for a longer time. So let's just quickly look at Pandas DataFrame. So Pandas DataFrame is a two-dimensional, size mutable, potentially heterogeneous tabular data structure. It is conceptually similar to a spreadsheet or an SQL table. So this is Python way of like implementing Excel or spreadsheets like in Python, right? So if you want to do analysis, you can follow this. You can use DataFrame in Pandas to perform the analysis, all right? So that's actually a very efficient way to do analysis. So you can use Pandas DataFrame, and it is two-dimensional, which is important to note. It is heterogeneous, right? The reason why we have potential here is because you can decide that all the columns in your data frame should be the same data type or different, right? So, but the thing is that each column would be of the same data type, but you can have different columns to be of different data types. Like column A might be float, column B can be integer, column C might be object. That is what we mean by heterogeneous. All right, doesn't mean column A would have several data types in it. No, just mean that it has several columns, and each column can be of different data types. So that's basically what it is, and that's why it differs from series. So what are the characteristics of a data frame? Labeled axis. So it has labeled axis. Heterogeneous data. So for series, our series is just the rows that are labeled, right? The column is not labeled. Why? Because it has just one column. Okay, so it has just one column. Why for our data frame, both the rows and the columns will be labeled, and you see what we mean by that. So let's move on. It is heterogeneous in nature, right? The data type can be heterogeneous. Each column can hold a different data type, integer, string, float, etc. Or like NumPy arrays, which require homogeneous data throughout. Size mutable. Data frames allow for modification of size. You can add or delete rows and columns after creation. Efficient. Pandas data frame are built on top of NumPy, as I said, making operations on them extremely efficient, particularly for large data. So I've said it several times that Pandas is built on top of NumPy. Pandas is built on top of NumPy. So how do we create a data frame? All right, how do we create a data frame? So let me see. Let me see if okay, series. That's fine. Okay, for series, there are several series methods that we can look at as well. So, but let me just show you. Print dir. But as we move on, we're going to be exploring them, sure. So you can just check yourself. You see, we have a lot of methods on this particular series data type. You can see we have mean here, right? We have median. We have a lot of things. We have replace. You can replace values. You have replace. So a lot of stuff you can do on series. So the things I just explained, it's just like a tip of the iceberg, right? So if you understand what the series is and how the structure is, you can just do a lot of other things with it. So for this part, let me just give you an example. For this particular fill NA, as I said, you can fill NA by filling it to the average. So to get the average of your series, you can actually use something like this. S2.mean is a function, right? And if you do this, you're going to see that the NA here will be filled by the mean. The mean of this Pandas series is 4.25, right? It calculates the mean and fill the missing value with the mean. So this is another attribute of your series that you can use, and you can see we are using it inside of this fill NA method to replace the missing value with the average of our Pandas series data. So that is just I just wanted to bring that out. But as we are moving, we are going to be seeing a lot of methods, useful and relevant methods for series object. So for Pandas data frame, we've looked at the different characteristics. So how do we create a Pandas data frame? So let's just come here and pick up this data for time's sake. So a Pandas data frame can be created, is mostly created from dictionaries. If you want to create it, it's mostly created from dictionaries. So I'll come here and say, creating a Pandas. Hope everyone can see me clearly. Let me just add more names here. I'm going to add Rita. I'm going to add Evans. So I'm just going to come here and say data scientists, so data analysts. So you can see here that what I did was I created a dictionary with 3. Okay, I have here. I can just say 90 and 80. So it's just random stuff. So we have keys here. We have name key, we have age key, and we have occupation key. So all these things are something we've done, so it shouldn't be strange to you. So I've told you that a key can have a list as its value. So all the keys have list as their value. So if I come here and I run this dictionary, it's going to give me an error. Why? Because I used the wrong quotes here. If I run it again, it should run pretty well, right? So if I come here and I print it out, we're going to get the data. Now, what we want to do is I want to convert this data to a Pandas data frame. How do we do that? Simply by calling pd.dataframe. All right, pd.dataframe. You can see how it is, just like the series. It starts with capital letter, and then we also have the F here, which is also in capital letter. So it's very important for you to know that. So the data frame takes in a dictionary. So in this case, it's going to take in this data. All right, and then we run it and it will give us something like this. So this is what a data frame looks like. You can see how similar it looks to an Excel, right? This is even a very small, let me even add something just so to appreciate it better. Location. I can have this. I keep saying Lagos, but I know it's let me see. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, right? So just 5 PH. Then we can have Ibadan. So come here and put this. So we have Ibadan. Then I'm going to put one more stuff, and I can say this should be low. I can say let's say salary. All right. So I'll see. So you can have like, let's say 200K annual salary. Now let's say 150K. Let's say 100K. It should be in dollars. Right now, let's say 250K. That is 1, 2, 3, 4K plus. So I can also let's say 180K. All right. So this is this is what we would have here. Where is the issue coming from? The location is 5, but I don't know where the issue is coming from though. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. So extra can actually be very important, and extra I. All right, so if I run this, you see I'm going to have something like this. So this is a Pandas data frame. So it gives you this tabular view, just like you have in Excel, like a very nice display of your data. So you see at the row, we have the index. So we didn't specify any index. So it's giving us default index. While in the column, we have the column names. So these column names corresponds to the keys in our dictionary: name, age, occupation, location. So these are the columns, and the values are the row values. So you can see this is how a data frame looks like basically. We can actually change the index here and come here and say index is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Right. Okay, sorry. Index equal to. So you can see that I've changed the index now. It's not starting from 0 again, it's starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is a data frame, and there are a lot of things you can do with data frame. Like everything you can think of in Excel, in any analysis tool, you can do it in Pandas data frame. This just gives you, this is just the first introduction to this. I just need you to look at it and understand, oh, this actually is intuitive. This is something like Excel and other platform for data analysis. So it's rows and columns, all right? We can have the columns here and all of that. So there are a lot of things we can do in the data frame, a lot of attributes. So let's just see some of them. We have df.shape, we have df.columns, we have df.index, we have df.data types, we have df.size, we have df.ending, we have df.t, we have df.values, all of that. Some of you might be wondering, what the heck is df? Like, where did df come in? So now there's a conventional way of naming data frame. When you create a data frame and you want to pass it to a variable, the most common variable name is df, all right? So this is just short form for data frame. So if I run this, now I have a data frame variable. So now there's a function. Now, if you use print for your data frame, let me just tell you this quickly. If you use print for your data frame, it gives you something like this. And this is not a nice view. This is just like a very raw output. But you still give you rows and column arrangement. But there's another function that I want you to be using moving forward for data frames. If I give you an assignment in data frames, don't use print for me, please. Use this function I'm about to introduce you to. And the function here is what? Display. So the display gives you the normal look that you'd have, right? Because when you're working in Jupyter Notebook, anything that is not the last code is not going to be displayed here. So in cases where you want to maintain or you want to like show the output, but you want to write other code, use display function instead of print function. Please don't use print for me. Use display function. If you use print function and you don't get the score you want to get, don't blame me, because I'm sounding it now and I'm saying it now. All right, so that's just what I wanted to let you know. So yeah, so the Pandas data frame has a lot of attributes as we've looked at here. So we've looked at we've seen df.shape. So if I come here now quickly, this was a quick one. Based on what you're seeing, what's the shape of this data frame? What's the shape of this data frame? Just quickly, based on what you're seeing. Based on the NumPy knowledge we've discussed, NumPy knowledge you have, what do you think the shape of this data frame is? Exactly. This is a 5x5 data frame. Like, it's so simple. So if I come here and say df.shape, what am I going to get? I'm going to get 5x5. This is a 5-row and 5-column data frame. So the 5 here is the row. So we have 5 rows here, and we also have 5 columns. So this is a 2-dimensional object. Series is what? Our series here, let me just see our series. Our series was my series. My series is just 5. Remember my series that I defined here, which is this particular one here. This one is a 1-dimensional object. You can see I printed out the shape now, and the shape is what? 5. Just 5 rows, right? So this is how you understand that these things are NumPy. They are related. They are together. There's no difference. It's just they just modify the structure to make it easy to work with. But everything is on top of NumPy. All right. So that's basically how you can know the dimension. If I still use the same n dimension, this is the same thing, right? The same NumPy attribute. If I come here and say df, the same NumPy attribute. So if I come here and say size 25, right? So the same thing that we are used to already. So there are other attributes like we have columns attributes. What it gives us is that it returns the column names of our data frame. All right, it returns the column name of our data frame. You see, it just returns as a list. We can actually pass it into a variable. You can say columns as a variable, right? So you might need it, and when you need it most is when you want to change the column names, right? We are going to look at that when we start doing analysis properly. So we can also get the index by saying df.index. It will return the index for us, all right? So we also have df.data types. So the data type is going to give us the data type of each column, right? Of each column, because I told you that the data frame is heterogeneous. So each column can have different data types. So if I come here and say d types, I'm going to get the data type for each column. So we have name column here, age column here, occupation column here, location column, and so each of them have different data types. So these are the different data types for each of the columns that we have in our data frame. So these are just the attributes. We also have df.size, which I've showed you, df.ending, df.transpose. So you remember transpose in NumPy. So you can actually do the same thing here. You can just put T here, and it will switch the row and column. So when I was explaining transpose in NumPy, I was saying it switches the row and column. You can see that this one now makes sense. It actually turned it not upside down, like it just flipped it. It brought the row to the column, and it took the column to the row. So your columns are now the rows, and your rows are now the columns, right? That's what transpose does in in Pandas DataFrame. So we also have df.values. So what df.values does is that it just extracts the values for you. All right, so we have values here, the same way it happens to series. So you can see this is what? This is a two-dimensional array. You can see that almost everything, the output of these things are usually in array. You can see array here. So it is two-dimensional array that each list, this is a list of a list. So each list corresponds to a particular column. All right, it corresponds to a particular column. Okay, so that's basically how you can get the values for. Let me come here and I say 0. If I say 0, it's going to give me the first one here. If I say 1, it's going to give me a second one, and so on and so forth. So that's basically how you can interact with the values gotten from your data type, your data frame. So I actually plan to just stop here for a reason, a personal reason actually. So, but the aim of this class is to introduce you to pandas and get you to know the data structure that is used in pandas, what series are, the different attributes of a series, but different attributes of a data frame and all of that. So if you come here and you say, let's just see the different attributes of our data frame object. So you're going to see this, right? You're going to see all of this a lot. Like all these things you are seeing here, they are for analysis. They are for analysis. So all these functions you are seeing, all of them, they are the things you are going to be using a lot for analyzing your data or performing operations on your Pandas data frame. So you see that at the beginning here, you have some things that you are familiar with, like you have your columns as the attributes. Yes, your data frame includes your columns as attributes. So if you call it like you will call an attribute, you're going to get something like this. I come here and I say df.age. You see, I'm going to get the age column. And what data type is this output? Now, this output that we got here of this age column, what data type is it? Okay, I'm saying data type. Let me just use the more something that is going to help you understand. What data structure is this particular output? Not data type. Someone got it. Rookie. Rookie is the only person that I've said correct stuff. So it's a Pandas series basically. So what I'm trying to say is that each column in your data frame is a Pandas series. So a combination of different Pandas series together will give you a Pandas data frame. Understand? So when you call this particular column using this syntax, it's going to give you the column, and it is going to be a Pandas series. So if I come in and say type of this stuff or object, it says a Pandas series. So everything you can do on Pandas series, you can do it on this particular one. So if I come here, age, we have salary. So the salary, the same thing as well. So you can call the columns as if they are an attribute. Actually, they are an attribute of your data frame. So you can call them. So there are two ways you can do them. You can call them either like this or with your index brackets. Anyways, this is going to be tomorrow. But basically, because we don't want to go through down that route today. That's basically it for data frame. I think it should just give you an idea of what it is. So that's it for data frame. Tomorrow we're going to look at how we are going to perform operations, basic operations on data frame. We're going to look at how we can view our data, selecting columns and rows, Boolean indexing, data manipulation, handling missing data, data aggregation and group operation, aggregation function, date and time handling, and advanced manipulation. So we're going to dive deeper into data frames, Pandas data frame specifically, in tomorrow's class. So that's going to be what we're going to be doing. And then starting from next week, we're going to learn how to import CSV files into Pandas and perform analysis on our data. All right, so we're going to look at data acquisition and data loading, data exploration, data cleaning and preprocessing, exploratory data analysis, feature engineering, and all of that. So we're going to from next week, we're going to start visualization. I think it should be from Sunday class and spill over to the upper week. We're going to look at how we can visualize our data as well. So the next 3 weeks, we're going to focus mostly on data analysis and visualization. But I need us to have the ground, the foundation today and tomorrow. So moving forward, we're going to start. So I think everything is now beginning to make a lot of sense, right? Everything we've done so far up to this point is actually taking us in a particular direction. So there is nothing that we've learned that is a waste. So that's why I told us to use this break that we had to wrap up, to go over all what we've done, so that anything we're going to be doing moving forward will not be strange to you. Very, very important. So when we enter machine learning, you will not be confused, because machine learning is basically, at that point, every other thing we've done would be a build up to that point, right? So if you've not covered everything yet, it would be you'll be definitely confused, and it's going to get you in a fix and frustrated and all of that. So just make sure you follow everything we are doing and go over the recordings and do your assignments and just ask questions if you want. So I think this is going to be it for today's class. I don't want this class to extend more than this. Just use the remaining time you have to just practice what we've done. You have the material already, so just practice what we've done into this class, the next 30 minutes, right? So that's going to be it for today's class, and I'm going to be taking just a few questions. So if you have any question, please indicate. Sunday, you can speak now. Ask your question quickly.
Okay, sir. Good evening, sir. Thanks so much for the class today. So my question is that when we did the Panda data frame, so I noticed that under the occupation column, the occupations were not aligning. So I want to ask that, can Panda, does it have any functionality that allows for alignment? Like what you compare them with Excel. So I was trying to say, okay,
what do you mean by alignment?
Like, for instance, you can align your text to the left, to the right, and all those things on Excel.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, those ones are just, I don't know, just for, I think it's automatically aligned. I at this point, you shouldn't really even be much of a concern, because it's not it's not something like that you are going to be presenting. It's just something you are working with, right, to achieve something. So the alignment is not a problem. I think it's right aligned, right? I've not really checked to know if we can align each column, honestly, because I've not seen any use for that. So there might possibly be a function that will do that, but I have not, because I've probably never seen a use case for that. So, but based on what you're saying, you can say it's right aligned, right? So that's basically how it is here. So, yeah, I don't know if that's the question you're asking.
Yes, that's my question, sir.
Yeah. All right. So, but you can check out yourself because I showed you different functions. So probably hidden in those functions might be a function that you can use to align the column. I don't know. So just check it out yourself. But as far as I know, I'm not sure. All right, Emmanuel Uche, please ask your question quickly. Emmanuel, you raise your hand.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, okay. So when I was trying to create my own Pandas data frame, I got an error that the module Pandas has no attribute data frame. So I was trying to figure out what the error could mean. Yeah.
Did you use the correct case for it? Because if you don't put, like if you use the something like this, it's going to give you an error like this. Module pandas has no attribute data frame because you are not capitalized the first letter. Even if you bring this one there.
Yeah, I did. I used the capital D for the data frame.
All right, so Emmanuel, basically that is just what your issue is. You just need to correctly capitalize your data frame attribute or method, and you get your stuff working. I hope that's
Okay,
fine.
thank you. All right, I'll figure it out. Thank you, sir.
But based on what you did, is it correctly capitalized?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That it's correctly capitalized. But I
Can
still
you
got that.
just like send a screenshot and send it to the Q&A group and tag me there?
Okay, I'll do that now, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this is going to be the end of the class. Please, if you have another question, just like let me know. And as we always do, let me know what you've picked up or what you're able to pick up from the class and the live class. And yeah, I think that's going to be it for today's class. So yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. Use the remaining time you have to just practice what we've done. And I believe it's even going to stick more than just listening to this class. So see you in tomorrow's class and have a nice day and enjoy the rest of your day.